Hello there, moin moin ladies and gentlemen, Donspektor here today with another IEM review, and today I have for you the EPZ Q1 Pro. Yes, again, thank you very much EPZ for sending this over for review, and as usual disclaimer here, they have not asked or influenced me to say anything positive or negative, and everything here is exactly how I found it. And as usual, we have the quick unboxing accessories. So, price-wise, this box here is pretty good because the IEM would clock in at like, 25 to 40 bucks, depending on where and when you buy it, because there's always some deals to be had. And yeah, as you can see, this is relatively thick cardboard. It's like relatively matte here. And I like this exploded schematic in this metal optics here. And it's also held on together with a magnet here, so just like that. You open it and you get greeted with this card with some EPZ on it. Style-wise, I do like this. There's even a flap to actually remove it. That is also nice attention to detail, I like that. And then you open this, and here's the storage pouch with the accessories, which also, attention to detail, you can actually remove it because I thought about this here. Nice, nice, nice. And then as accessories, you go to get this carrying pouch that we have seen basically one-to-one from Tin and quite a few other companies. Like it's just a standard thing, but it will keep your IEM safe. And then you get ear tips. And here they opt for an actually relatively decent no-name ear tip here. These also came, for instance, with LZ audio, and they also come with the pen and stuff. And yeah, they are definitively pretty good. One thing to keep in mind with these, so they're relatively thin. So that means they, while fitting very well and being very pliable, they don't isolate that well. But they're generally nice ear tips, and I like the inclusion of some good no-name ear tips here. And that's it overall with packaging accessories. I think for this pricing, the packaging accessories is pretty damn good. Yeah, obviously like some other tips might still be nice, like maybe a shorter version, maybe foam or so, but it's absolutely acceptable at this price point, and I do like packaging and accessories. Next, we come to the IEM Build, and yeah, now it's first in the video, let's take a look at the actual IEM here. As you can see, for the price point these come in, they do look really nice, I have to admit. This like water optics they have going on here is relatively unique at this price, and I do like it. It's a bit difficult to see on camera here, but this is like a bit 3D going on here. It's not just like glued in. And I'm also pretty sure this is unique to each IEM, so I like that. And let me just remove the connector here, which is relatively dense in here, or relatively tight in there. And that's where I am. And yeah, as you can see, there's LNR indicator here in white on black, so that's well readable. Unfortunately, no color coding, also later on no color coding on the cable, so there's some small improvement potential here. And other than this, for the price point, this is a semi-custom shaped IEM made out of resin. I like this very much. This is definitively among the better ones in terms of build here, because you can see also here the 2-pin connector. It's flush. It's very well integrated in here. You cannot tell it apart from its surrounding. And yeah, the color matching is not exactly right. Like this is a bit transparent, a bit difficult to see on video, where this is black, but this is overall feeling very well built for the price point. Also the pressure or tuning hole, I assume this is more like a pressure hole here. This like brass inlet here seems to be glued in very well. Like I have absolutely no problems with this. It's also flush in here, so overall, yeah, the build quality for the price feels really, really good. Adding to this is also the nozzle that seems to be glued in, again, pretty well here. There's no rocking around, it just seems to be, yeah, doing exactly how it should, so very dense in there. And yeah, then last but not least, we have the mesh on the front here. And also this, it's glued in well. Like I see no weird glue fizzles around the side. It didn't move, it didn't rock. And if you try to poke it a bit, it also doesn't move around at all. And yeah, overall for the price point, I think this is a very well built IEM. Probably among the best I've seen here, even compared to some other budget choices which we tackle probably next week or so, like the Nuo or the 02. This is definitely better made than these. And then next we come to the cable, and yeah, the cable, quick summary probably here already, it's fine. Like it is definitively a bit better than the one that you would get with the Z-Guard Nuo or with the 02, but just a bit. And that means you can see here it is relatively smooth in usage. Just the top part, because yeah, the wires are a bit thinner, tends to be lightly tangly, but again, not too bad at all. And in the details, I think we start again with the connector here. It has EPZ written on it, slightly like concave, so you can actually grab it. I like this feature. Strain release here, again, very short and yeah, not soft enough to release any strain, but I mean, that's what it is. And then the actual 4-core waving here is not the most equal and not the most yeah, densely woven here, as you can see, but for the price point, it's totally fine. Core thickness is like medium thin, but again, for the price point, this is not really a complaint. This is still absolutely well usable cable. Splitter here, same style as the connector. Let me just get that in. So, yep, exactly same style. And then we have a chin slider that unfortunately, yeah, it just slide way too easy here, so it doesn't stay in place. And it doesn't really, yeah, do what a chin slider is supposed to do. Small improvement potential here. Another thing that you can see here, the top wires, oh no, actually we have the same thickness or a bit thinner. Yeah, but this is a bit more tangly than the bottom, and you can see it also. It has like some, not, I don't want to say like texture, but like it's not as smooth as the bottom is. But overall, it's still absolutely well usable here. And coming to the ear hooks here, the rubberization around here is, as you can see, yeah, medium thick, keeps the ear hapes in like what was it, nicely shaped, but keeps them in shape. And the angle, well, I think is a bit too aggressive. As you can see, this is like not 360 degrees, but like 300. That's a bit much. I think this could be slightly reduced overall. So it could lead to some pressure hotspots here at the bottom, for instance, and also because the bending angle is not the biggest here, might also lead to a hotspot or here on top of your ear, depending on your ear size. I didn't have problems with this, well, this was fine for me. I just want to say it could lead to problems. And then last but not least, the 2-pin connector here. You can see again, same style as the chin slider and as the connector here. Feels like it's metal, again, well made. I have absolutely no issues with it. And yeah, there is no color indicator on the cable, as I said, so there might be a slight improvement potential there as well. But overall, for the price, I do like the cable. I think it's pretty decent to good, and yeah, not many complaints at all. Next, we talk about comfort and fit. And yeah, again, I will throw you on measurements of this, so yeah, how you see how big it in reality is. But subjectively, this is a rather small IEM to me, like medium to medium small. Something like the 02 is definitively quite a bit bigger. And also the Z-Guard Nuo appears to be a bit bigger and subjectively here to me. And yeah, the nozzle is medium thickish here, and also on the medium, like exactly medium length overall, combined with the shell inserting a bit in your ear, and this just fits me very well. Like, I have no issues with this, and yeah, I actually noted it. 5.7mm nozzle, the maximum, so that is absolutely fine, and 4.3mm in length. So yeah, combine that with, I think, like 2-3 more millimeters of insertion through the shell. This actually is working very well for me, and I think this will also fit most people, because also the contouring here at the bottom, so yeah, the actual semi-custom is not too aggressive, so it's kind of boat-shaped, but a bit semi-custom, and this should just fit everybody just fine. And yeah, overall, of the cheaper IEMs I've reviewed the last few months, I think this is the best fitting to me so far. And that also, yeah, translates to isolation. This is about an average, maybe a bit above average isolating IEM overall. That means with the silicon tips it comes with, you do get above average, like really just average isolation, because it's just a bit too thin. But if you opt for something a bit thicker or for something, yeah, foamy, this will definitely isolate better and be enough for most situations. Only on maybe like busy main roads this might not be enough, but again, like putting on a foam tip will give you some better isolation there. And yeah, compared again to other budget options like the 02 or the Z-Guard Nuo, yeah, I think this is the best isolating of the bunch. And yeah, I said a bit above average, or we could say that just above average isolating IEM here. Next chapter, Drivability. This is a single DD IEM, which I probably missed in the introduction here. It has 32 ohms at 100 decibels of efficiency, so it's also similar efficient to most single DD sets out there. And that means also pretty much you will be fine on most dongles with this. And yeah, in fact, the Apple dongle that I tried, it absolutely worked fine here. It gave me like, I noted like 85% of what this is capable of. And yeah, going to another better dongle, like here I have the Fuzzy Audio DS1. that gave me like 100%, and going to my desktop setup, which is, yeah, it's like 3.5 watts or something like that, it didn't give me any improvement here. So you will be fine with the Apple dongle, and just a bit better of a dongle will give you a bit better performance, but not much at all. And then we come to the core part now, sound characteristics. Again, throwing on measurements done with my IC 7.1 coupler, and you can find them as well in my squig link here. And yeah, general characteristics as usual. This can be defined as bright U-shaped or mildly bright V-shaped here, depending on your definition. Extension-wise, you can see there's a peak at 12K, and to my ear, sounds about right, like 11 or 12K, there's a light peak here. It's not strongly pronounced as the graph might indicate to my ear, and that means you do get some splash and some sizzle on top and some decent details for the price point. Multivitamin juice part 1 and 2 for Movana, for instance, sounded detailed enough for the price point, like not much to complain here. There's some air on top without coming off as super airy like planars or some other more expensive sets. And then we go to the upper mid-treble transition here. And yeah, as you can see by the graph, I probably will compare it to the 0.2 and to the Z-Guard Nur. This is definitively on the bright side of things. That means most instruments will have, yeah, like they can come off as a bit forward compared to the vocals. And this might be your thing or might not be your thing, but I'm team treble. I do like this overall balance here. And yeah, the mid-treble to upper treble transition and even the lower treble for all that matter, I think this sounds very good. Like, I'm not sensitive to 5K, and if you are, well, I would suggest putting down 4.5K, which is kind of in this realm, but there's a light peak here. Put it down by like 2 to 3 decibels, then this should be in line with the rest of the treble, and you should have no issues with it. But if you generally like yourself, your sets to be brighter, this is very well balanced yeah, treble here. Like, it's in its entirety. There isn't much I can criticize here. Like, their fundamentals to harmonics just sound right, and also the detail amount for a price point is absolutely acceptable. Lower mids and yeah, lower treble, upper mids, I mean, you can see, again, just a tad brighter than other IEMs that you would describe as like having a neutralish treble. So again, 0.2 comes to mind here. Again, that means if you like bright like me, this will be exactly right up your alley. It isn't too much, it isn't too forward in the upper mids here. So generally, female vocals come off as having a good clarity and good body as well, without being too much forward here. My benchmark here usually is Near Automata. It has some great female vocal tracks, and yeah, these just sounded right to me, just balanced overall, and I have literally nothing to complain here. Again though, summing up here, this is still, treble is all on the brighter side, and I think most people would probably prefer the 0.2 or the Z-Guard Nur, but I like treble here and I like the brightness this has. Again, now coming to mids, and yeah, like really again, the mids, they just continue being rock solid here. There's nothing to complain here. The mids have a good body, they have a good clarity, there's no bloat, they are not recessed at all. And compared to the 0.2, actually I do like these definitively more than on the 0.2. Some on the 0.2 have the feeling it's actually a bit lightly V-shaped sounding to me. And in terms of tonality, well, the Nur has a bit better mid tonality, but just by a tad. And that means overall, yeah, the body of most vocalists here, and yeah, just generally mids, they sound pretty damn good here. And then coming to bass, and I think this is where I think most of people will have criticism here. So first, you can see by the bass, it still has a decent presence here. Yeah, it does give you a bass shelf below 300 Hz, so there's not much bleed or no bleed at all to mids. Unfortunately, the bass takes a bit of a backseat compared to mids and the treble, especially to treble. That means while the bass notes here are not bad, they're a bit on the lighter side, and there isn't much punch going on here. And definitively the 0.2 or even the Z-Guard Nur have a better overall bass tonality here. I noted Skeletons in the Attic from Dance of the Dead, for instance, is definitively a bit underwhelming. It's like a synthwave track, and it has like a bass drop in the beginning, and it's like a decent bass line. It's a bit underwhelming. It's not bad or anything, but it's just underwhelming to me, and I think most people would probably boost the bass by like 3 decibels or so to get just a bit more punch out of it. But overall tonality is fine, And even in the sub-bass department, it's about average, right? It gives me like 2 minutes 14 Interstellar's Mountains. There's like a bass note that starts at like 70 Hertz or 60 Hertz and it drops all the way to 20. Yeah, this manages 2 minutes 14 there, but the best you can get with IEM at so far is 2 minutes 16, but you have like a deep rumble at, yeah, like 20 Hertz or so. So it's just about average, there isn't much to complain here. It's fine for the price. And then we come to the other technicalities. Soundstage, layering and imaging first. And yeah, Soundstage, it's layering, it's mostly 3 layers. But actually, the actual imaging and the stage size, I think, is actually pretty decent here. So that means you can pinpoint enemies relatively easily in games. And again, my usual test game here is Insurgency Sandstorm. That's more like a tactical, like semi-hardcore shooter. Yeah, easily worked with this one. I think of the bunch of the budget IEMs I've reviewed, that might be the best in terms of imaging and soundstage here. But just by a bit. I still would say the 02 probably edges it out because it's a bit more detailed. And yeah, that can help with this. But I think overall soundstage and how I perceive cues from where it comes is, I think, the best among the bunch here. And then, yeah, next, separation, dynamics, and coherence. And yeah, it's okay in this one. This is not the most dynamic single DD IEM out there. And it definitively will get beaten by the much older Cadenza that had like a Beryllium coated DD. Definitely more dynamic than this one, while also being on the bright side of things. And yeah, even in terms of, now we come, I think, more into coherence and timbre direction now. Is definitely more on the bright side, so you have to like yourself that the timbre is a bit cold here. But interestingly, compared to the 02, I think the 02 of the bunch is the most metallic, the most tinny, the most zingy. I'm not sure why. I will also say that in my review for the 02. But to my ear, the 02 just sounds overall metallic. It could be that it has like a resonance peak in my ear at like 14K or so. That could explain why I perceive it as metallic or tinny. But this one, while being bright, I don't perceive as that bad. It's a bit colder because, yeah, you have more treble here, but it's not bad at all. And yeah, the overall coherence, its single DD set is also pretty good. And that brings me already to the verdict today. And yeah, it's, I think, similar to the Nuo in a sense, but I would say this just sounds right to my ear. There's nothing wrong with this tuning. Everything is where it should be. It is more on the bright side. And for me, with a team treble preference, this is hitting exactly how I like my IEMs to be. It is balanced, it is brighter character, and it has pretty decent technicalities for the price point. Adding to this is the very good comfort, the smallish shell that it has here, and a pretty decent cable. So that means this is a pretty good IEM. I'm just not jumping, like I'm just not jumping because of joy or because this is a great IEM. Like the price point it has at like 40 bucks, we are coming dangerously close to something like the E20 which I had here, which has like 2 DDs and 2 good DDs at like 50 bucks. This outperforms this in terms of technicalities by good margin. And even other cheaper IEMs, again, like now let me get the 02 in for a bit. I think this is a bit more technical overall while costing less. And then we have the Z-Guard Nuo, which I also have lying around here. Well, I think even if you like yourself, like not super bright, but a bit brightish, I think this is also a very well sounding IEM, and it also fits relatively well. So this has really fierce competition at its price point. And the DD not being that capable overall means, yeah, even compared to something older like the Cadenza, like this is good. It just is not the best that you can get at its price point. And I think most people would still prefer to cut down the treble by like 2 to 3 decibels, like everything past 2.5K, just cut it down by 2 to 3 decibels. That's what most people would prefer. I don't. So I think this can be recommended if you do like yourself a good fitting, like budgetish, like 40 bucks, I said is the maximum this goes for IEM. But I would also say maybe check out the market. It's very competitive there, and you will find other IEMs that are also very good at this price point. So again, lightly recommended, not strongly, but lightly recommended from me, because it's actually pretty decent and there isn't much to complain here at all. Just look at the market. That's it. Hope you enjoyed. If you have questions, if you have recommendations or criticisms, please leave a comment. Donspektor out.